Fields and me, Artie Bennett.
I was in love with a beautiful blonde once. She drove me to drink. It's the one thing I'm indebted to her for. These are the immortal words of the great comedian W.C. Fields. As you can tell, I'm no whiz with impressions. You dirty rats, I mean my fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and most beloved judges. Now, I know that many of you benighted souls out there may never even have heard of W.C. Fields. You may come from a land where W.C. means something else altogether. But it's never too late to be improved. Just ask my wife. Fields' screen persona consisted of the eternally henpecked husband who found solace in drink while he battled with small children and pets. There was also the con man with the curmudgeonly streak. And then there was the over-the-top windbag, whose outlandish tales of daring do provoked suspicion among men and fainting spells among women. For a stocky man, he proved a very nimble physical comic, and he was also an accomplished juggler. In short, he was an American original. He wrote or co-wrote all of his screenplays, which showcased his lifelong love for words and language. He used the fanciful pen names Otis J. Kribblecoblis and Mahatma Cain Jeeves. Do you get it? My cane, Jeeves. As a small boy, he helped his father peddle produce from their horse-drawn cart. He was so infatuated with words that he couldn't resist calling out, Escarole, arugula, rutabagas, because he loved the way they sounded. Never mind that they didn't carry any of these vegetables, or that his short-tempered old man would box his ears whenever he did. A good smack was the price to pay for a good joke. At age 11, when most boys are only beginning to prepare for their bar mitzvahs, Fields ran away from home to escape his abusive alcoholic father. He found work in an amusement park, and there he began to develop many of the routines that would later turn up in his films. You may be familiar with his bulbous red nose, which was his trademark. He came by it honestly. He was a drunkard. On movie sets, he kept a flask of martinis handy, which he referred to as his lemonade. One day, a prankster poured out his liquor and replaced it with actual lemonade. Fields soon needed a nip, but when he took a swig, he explosively spit it out, crying, Beelzebub, what fiend put lemonade in my lemonade? And he bemoaned the fact that while he was on safari, the porters had forgotten to bring along the corkscrews, and he was forced to subsist on nothing but food and water. Somehow, though, I think he managed to pull through. One of my all-time favorite Fields moments comes from his film Man on the Flying Trapeze. One night, his wife is awakened by a pair of burglars singing in their cellar. Desperately, she urges Fields to go down and investigate, for their lives are in great danger. He shakes off sleep, and he reluctantly makes his way downstairs. After a period of suspenseful silence, we're suddenly aware that a third voice, Fields's, has joined the chorus in the cellar. He's singing along. Apparently, the burglars had gotten into his supply of bootleg brandy, and Fields has just made 2 new drinking buddies. In another scene, a disapproving shrew reproaches Fields for being drunk, but he counters, yeah, and you're crazy. I'll be sober tomorrow, but you'll be crazy the rest of your life. And he was prone to give tidbits of cautionary advice. Always carry a flagon of whiskey in case of snake bite, and furthermore, always carry a small snake. He grew up just outside Philadelphia, and throughout his life he delighted in poking fun at his hometown. I once spent a year in Philadelphia, he said. I think it was a Sunday. He loved to ad-lib and rarely stuck to the script. According to his friends, one of the biggest laughs he ever received was when a performance he was giving was interrupted by the loud crashing of backstage objects as a set collapsed. After the disturbance abated, Fields cried out, "Mice!" What is it about W.C. Fields that sends me into transports of delirium? His rugged good looks? His dulcet tones? After all, I'm not a drunkard, though I always carry a flagon of whiskey with me in case of drink. I'm not a con man. I'm the kind of fellow that con men lick their lips over when they see coming. And I'm certainly no curmudgeon. I don't even know what that means. I guess you just have that certain je ne sais quoi. Well, I hope that I've succeeded in giving you a snapshot of this comic genius. And I would urge all of you immediately after my speech, without even waiting for the judge's decisions, to race out to your neighborhood video store, if any still exist, and snap up as much Fields as you can schlep away. But please leave a few goodies for me, because this very funny man, who is unappreciated, or worse, unknown today, deserves to be revived and revered. After all, the fellow who once said, "Start every day with a smile and get it over with," is someone we should pay attention to. A little chickadees, Madam Comtesse Chair.